We are live. Welcome to Tuesday.
What's up, everyone? Welcome, welcome. A nice long week behind me, and nice new week ahead of us. So, what's going on, Miss Barbara? You all ready to kick it for this week?
I am. I am. It's like forgiveness this week is personal.
I hear you. I definitely hear you on that one.
Yeah. I'm like, I am the most forgiving woman you would ever want to meet.
Mm-hmm.
But there is nothing more frustrating than forgiving somebody who can't or won't forgive you.
Well, and see, I'm funny with forgiveness. Like, it's a very funny situation sometimes. I think it depends on what the person did. I de- I believe it depends on how deep, how hurtful the person was. It's a lot to it. So, and sometimes with family and stuff like that, it could even get more complicated. So, like, it's forgiveness is a very complicated thing.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how I look at it. I know a lot of people say forgive and forget. I really don't look at it that way, but like I can't judge anyone else for how they look at it also.
When you think about it, not forgiving somebody is like taking poison and hoping somebody else dies.
I, all right. All right. See, I look at it like this. I look at it like I don't quite see it like that. I look at it like if I felt the person did me wrong or did me dirty, I'm not looking to forgive them. I'm not looking to even think about it. You go your way, I go my way. We never have to interact anymore. That's it. So it's not that I'm holding the weight of the world down on me. It's I know you did me wrong. I did you right. So why do I even care? You do you. I don't wish you no harm or anything like that. It's just you handle your business, enjoy your life. I'll handle my business, enjoy my life, and that's it.
Yeah. Like I'm not a grudge holder. I've had people do pretty fucked up things. And on occasion, I go against character and I've done some really unkind things.
Hmm.
I used to, when I was young, I used to have a much more of a temper. Like I think recently I had a little bit of a meltdown over something. That was the first time I had like a real meltdown in years. I was just like trying to process something and I didn't feel that the people close to me were like supportive of it.
Hmm.
And I was just kind of like I I'm a smart woman. I know how like the world works. I would just occasionally like somebody to tell me that like we know you got this instead of well you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this and you got to do that because when people tell you what they think that you should do in any given situation,
Mm-hmm.
they're not you.
Right.
And sometimes advice is easy and sometimes advice is impossible. Somebody gives you, oh, I think you should do this.
Hold on, not the cut. You see who's here for us? What's
Who?
up,
Oh,
Zapata?
you haven't been
Long
here in
time.
so long, Zapata. Thank you for coming by. How are you?
Zapata, today we're talking about forgiveness.
Uh,
Forgiveness. Do you have to forgive? Is it imperative to forgive? Everybody has their different opinions on forgiving and stuff like that. But like I understand what you're saying, Barbara. I just look at it like some situations I just can't do it.
I also think that women get more advice than men.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Because people expect women to be more forgiving. And I don't look at it like that. I look at it like you're a human being. If someone did you dirty and you don't want to deal with them no more, keep it moving. That's it. Nobody don't hold anybody to a standard that you won't hold yourself to. And when I say that, that's even to say that, like, even with me, if someone feel that I disrespected them or I did something shady to them and they don't want to speak with me anymore, I have to respect that and step away because like everybody has their own feeling and you can't hold like anybody to a standard like I said that you won't hold yourself to. So I know how I am. I know I'm the guy that's like, no, I'm not forgiving. I'm not dealing with that. So I can't hold anybody else to that standard. I have to step up and be like, I accept how you see things. I wish you the best. So long. Zapata said you have to be the bigger person and forgive, even though you're not at fault. Do you feel that way, Barbara?
I do. I actually do. And I will apologize for things just to keep the peace. But that there comes a line. There comes a line, especially in romantic relationships. Like, how soon should you start apologizing to keep the peace?
My thing is, like I said, I don't feel
No.
I don't feel you have to apologize. I mean, I don't feel you have to accept a person's apology. I could just be like, okay, I respect that. I wish you the best. Bye. Because actually, to me, and I'm going to ask this of the Potter also, when you accept that person's apology, what are you doing for yourself? What, like, to me, if you don't matter to me anymore, you don't matter. So why do I even care how you feel, how you see things? Like I said, I don't wish you any harm, but I don't want to be bothered with you. So, all right, you apologize, thank you, bye. It ain't whether I accept or I don't accept. It's just the fact that I know you did something I feel was shady. Therefore, we have no time for one another anymore. You're not in my circle. I'm not looking at you. I'm not worried about you. So it's, I don't know. I don't know how to look at that one.
I think I think people are not perfect. People are not perfect. People make mistakes.
Yeah.
People get to the point in their life where they just had enough and they react.
Okay, I agree. A mistake is a mistake.
Right.
If you make a mistake once, I might could get over it. You make a mistake twice, all right, I'm feeling some way. You constantly making the same mistake, it's no forgiveness. It's no getting over it. I
That's
don't want to be bothered anymore.
especially in a romantic relationship. I agree with that. If you're making the same mistake over and over and over,
Then
and
it's not a
you
mistake.
don't see that that is like that your like constant mistake is becoming an issue in your relationship. Hello, Jackie. Jackie does not forgive. She says just move on. But
Thank you, Jackie. Zapata said you could forgive. Doesn't mean you have to be friends. You could say, I accept your apology and go about your way and never look back. Yeah, I agree with that also. But I also feel I could just be like, it's no need to even apologize. You go your way, I go my way. That's it. Like, because I feel when you accept a person's apology, you're letting them, you're lightening how they feel. They feel less of a burden, they feel less at fault or whatever. Why should I do that for anyone? Especially when you knew what you was doing and you made the choice to do it. So my thing is like, all right, I understand what everybody's, but I never ever agreed with that. Oh, when you forgive someone, you're doing it for yourself, not them. I never agreed with that. I always felt when you forgive someone, you're forgiving them for them because you're lightening their burden. Now they could feel less responsible for the situation. And why would I make you feel less responsible for the situation when you are responsible for that situation?
oh, you're going to get biblically technical? Oh no. With
Well, if it gets biblically technical, that's cool because I look at it like this: God forgives, I don't.
I got no truck with God.
That's it. But I like I said, I respect that. I respect everyone's how everyone looks at certain things. Like I just look at it like I said, I could forgive certain things. There's certain things to me that's unforgivable. Certain things I can forgive. And and the one thing I definitely will never forgive is the constant repeating of certain, like we were talking about last week, certain patterns. If this person is constantly doing the same thing and then asking for forgiveness, that's a problem.
No, I agree. Or the person keeps doing something that they know bothers you
Right.
and then never ask for forgiveness. Or like I said I was sorry and then you did it again. Oh, you want me to apologize all the time? No, I
Well,
don't want you to keep repeating the same screwed up patterns.
I'm even going to ask Zapata one thing. All right, I know Zapata is a supervisor on school safety. For people that don't know that, that's a boss man. He's a boss man.
Okay.
They call them the white shirts. Now, Zapata, if you have one of your agents that mess up, you forgive them. You're like, I'm not going to write you up. I'm not going to do nothing. They mess up again. All right, I'm not going to mess up. I'm not going to write you up. People make mistakes. If they constantly do the same thing and keep coming back and telling you, oh, come on, boss, you know, it was a mistake. Sooner or later, as a boss, you have to write them up because you know they know exactly what they're doing and it's no longer a mistake. So that forgiveness is out the window. And that's how I look at things. I look at it like after a while, right? But you're sitting in the training, but you're not saying, all right, forget it. You're saying, all right, you got to suffer some type of consequence because they know what they're doing. But yes, we need there's a few that need to go back to training. Some of the bosses need to go back to training. But that's the thing I'm saying. It has to be standards. And you have to look at people and say, listen, I understand no one's perfect. I understand people make mistakes. But at the end of the day, it's about respect. And if you allow a person just to run over you and do what they want, they're never going to respect you. And they're going to think they could always do that same thing to you. So I don't do the back and forth. I don't do the multiple chances. I'm like, nah. And depending, and honestly, depending on what a person did, sometimes that's right, Zapata. You have to set your standards. And depending on what the person did, sometimes it's one time and it's done. But like I said, it's nothing wrong with forgiveness, but it's something wrong with stupidity. Don't be stupid for anyone. That's how I look at it. Set that standard.
Now, I agree with the standards. And I have to say that my ability to be forgiven so many times has bitten me in the ass ugh, like more times than I care to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I feel like letting go of anger and yeah, I forgive you is makes me feel freer than if I was like holding on to things.
But see, all right, and that's my next issue. Do you think because you don't forgive, you're holding on to anger? You could just be like, all right, we don't have to deal with each other. It's not anger. I just don't give a damn about you. Lose my number, lose my name. You don't even know me anymore. And that's it. So it's no anger there now. Because we don't have to communicate. We don't have to deal with one another. You go your way, I go my way.
Yeah, but then
Hmm.
somewhere
I
down
agree
the
with you.
road, you had
Uh-huh.
an unresolved issue with someone. And like Jackie says, it's okay to forgive if it heals you, but not if it
Right.
makes you feel worse.
Right.
I find forgiveness to be very healing. And I'm usually eager to do it. Like there's really a very short list of people that I don't forgive. Like they're on the fingers of one hand. That's it.
Oh, I wish I could say that. But my thing,
Honestly, I go through life and my heart is pretty open. And you really have to stomp on it seriously to get me to not forgive you. You have to stomp on it so seriously that, like, I'm afraid of who I become when I'm around you. When it comes about my anger toward you and my inability to process how you hurt me affects me as a person, then I can't forgive you.
but see, I understand that, but I also go back to I like I said, I don't know where I don't think I feel lighter by forgiving someone. I feel lighter by getting rid of people. That I'm serious. Now I don't have to think about you. You're not a burden to me. Whatever goes on with you goes on. Like I said, I'm not going to wish anybody harm, but we no longer need to interact. So if we're not interacting, how is that weighing me down?
How close are you to the people that you're forgiving or not forgiving?
I don't care who it is. I have family that I'm like, if we never speak again, oh well. Because to me,
See,
that's your inner
I'm
peace.
Team Zapata. You have to let go of the anger or the grudge or whatever it is, because then you're trapped in it.
But see, this is what I don't get. How are you trapped in anything if you're not dealing with a person anymore? That's like if you're divorced and you don't have to see your ex-spouse anymore. How you trapped? You're good. Move on. Take a couple of months, take a year, healed up, move on to the next. I
I
never understood that.
I don't ever want to forgive my ex. Like I don't want to forgive. I don't care to forgive. They did. They got all the forgiveness I could possibly give them,
But
and just fucked it lovely.
I really want to understand though the
Now,
trapped
but now my inability to have anything to do with them
uh-huh.
affected my relationship with my kids because they don't understand why I don't forgive. It's kind of like you're not married, you don't have to worry about it. It's once or twice a year, just like get over it. And I don't feel that way.
And they didn't go through what you had to go through with that person.
Yeah, like they're aware of it, but they're
Mhm.
like, it's over now. Just be over it.
And nobody can ever tell you just be over anything because it affected you.
Deeply.
Right. But like I said, I always wanted to understand the theory of like Zapata saying it keeps you trapped and you saying it keeps you trapped. What do you mean by it keeps you trapped?
Definitely trapped in a situation that I can't get out of when it comes to, like, I'm not certain that I will ever have a healthy relationship with my kids
Hmm.
because I can't get past this. And I only know, like, I only know what to do with me. I don't know what the expectations for my future or how you want me to act or whatever, whatever. I do not know. Like, what is it that you ideally want from me? Like, what level of forgiveness do we have to, like, have Sunday dinner or some shit?
Uh-huh.
And Zapata's got a point. When you get into a new relationships, things will, like, it'll bring up all your feelings. Remember, some years ago, maybe like 15, 20 years ago, there was a book. It was a bestseller. And on it was a picture of a woman
Hmm.
dressed as a bride driving a car with like a whole bunch of men in the car. It was like a cartoon. And
Hmm.
it's like, all your exes drive you to the altar.
I don't even agree with that. It's funny
I
because
thought it was like super true. I'm like, yeah, all your exes either drive you to the altar or drive you away from it. But it's like, if you don't process, I'm big on processing. But if you don't process, you're stuck in the hole. You're stuck in the hole, and that's what it is. And it's whatever. You're stuck in it. You're like living in it. It's hit.
no, see, and I understand that. That's why it said, like we always say, in any relationship you deal with, you have to, after that relationship is over, get yourself together, take time away from any relationships, and make sure you're right before you get into anything else. And when you get into the next relationship, as you're going, you speak to the new person you're, when you think it's worth like building and you think that you guys have a chance, you talk about what you've been through, what you can accept, what you don't like, what you do like. And that's what you, that to me, that's what makes a relationship. Like you don't just go, all right, I'm out of this relationship, I'm gonna jump into the next relationship and go through the same bullshit. You gotta, like I said, most people don't do the hard work. And the hard work to me is having constant conversations, speaking about your feelings, telling people how you see things, how you perceive things, and making sure that relationship has a chance. To me, that still doesn't say I have to forgive anyone. I'm sorry. That's how I look at it. I look at it like some things just, it is what it is. We don't have to forgive and forget. We don't have to hug and hold hands. I like, I don't even have to tell that person I forgive them. I know I forgave you because I'm not harboring any ill will. I'm not harboring any ill feelings. You're just no longer a part of my life. That's it. So what does it matter whether I forgive you or not if you're not a part of my life anymore? If you're a part of my life, you know all is forgiven. But if you're no longer in my circle, if you're no longer a part of my life, I don't really care. I'm not giving it a second thought. And that's how I see that one.
I
Sometimes you don't have to, saying less is saying everything.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I don't agree 100%. Because I think that there are some people that, whether or not you forgive them, you have to think about what their role in your life is going to be.
What is, that's what I don't understand. Break that one down for me, please.
Okay, if you don't forgive, say your ex, like the mother of your children, did something that was very much out of character,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you really just don't understand.
Okay.
Now, you guys have layers of it. You had a friendship, you had a marriage, you had a divorce, you returned to the friendship. Now you're cool with her, you're cool with her man, she's been cool with you and partners that you've had. So something unforgivable happens. What do you do then? How much of that can you
All
she
right.
can disappear from your life? You can't cut her off
Why can't you?
because she's the mother of your kids and the mother of your grandkid, the grandmother of your grandchildren.
But you don't. All right. This is how you handle that. I still don't have to forgive you. I'm cordial to you. I'm respectful with you. When we're in the same space, I'm cordial with you. I'm respectful with you on the strength of my kids and my grandkids. When I'm not around my kids and my grandkids, we don't speak, we don't communicate, we do nothing. So, therefore, I really don't give a damn about you. I'm just doing what I have to do for my kids and my grandkids. It's not about that person. It's about the rest of the circle. So I understand to keep the circle somewhat intact, it's never going to be 100% the same. But to keep the circle somewhat intact, I will be cordial. I will be respectful. But it's no longer the same level that it once was. And that's how I would handle that. So to me, that's not forgiveness. That is, I don't even know what to call that. It's working, doing what you have to do. It's a process. I would say it's a process of keeping my family structure somewhat viable. That's it. But forgive her? No, no. And if it was vice versa, I wouldn't expect her to forgive me. I would expect her when we're around each other, be very cordial, be respectful. We don't even have to communicate. Just no disrespect towards each other, and that's it. So, how do you feel about that?
I'm not sure how to keep it cordial if there's not a level of forgiveness.
To me, keeping it cordial is just hello, hi, that's it. We don't have to converse at all. I acknowledge that you're living, and that's it. It don't have to be any communication. And some people would say that I'm cold. I'm not. That to me, that's not being cold. That's being honest and real.
Jackie agrees.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. That to me, that's just being honest and real. Because, like I always tell you about everything, Barbara, I believe people know exactly what they're doing. So when you know what you're doing, you did it with a purpose. Why am I forgiving you? That doesn't lighten my burden. That lightens your burden. Once we no longer have a connection, I have no burden at all. So, like I said, it's no ill will. It's just you go about your business, I go about my business. If we have kids together, I would never ever disrespect my ex. Never. But does that mean we have to communicate? No. Now the big problem is, see, at my age, it doesn't matter because my kids are all grown. It becomes a little tricky when you have younger kids, teenagers, younger kids like that. Then it's still part of the game. It's still part of the process. You have to maneuver different. Everything comes down to respect. I could not stand you and still be respectful, and that's all it is. We're not going to go out and have dinner or lunch or whatever, but if my kid has a party, I'll show up at my party. At the party, I'll be respectful. Hello, you sit on that side, I sit on. I could even sit next to you. It don't matter. We're not best friends or nothing, but we're respecting each other, and that's the most important part of everything to me.
Mm. See, I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking
Hmm.
is I just don't really work like that. It's one of those things like it's who I am. I don't work like that. I'm like one of those people, I will forgive you until I don't, and then I really can't even be around you.
And I respect that. I'm just one of those people. I can't give you the opportunity to do it more than once, to do it more than twice. You may get away with it once. You do it twice, it's a wrap. It's guaranteed a wrap. Like I said, it's all about respect. It's all about how you go about things. So if I know you a person that, like I said, if you're my loved one on whatever level, it doesn't even have to be romantic. But if we have a connection and we're supposed to be good and you violate that connection, I'm like, that's a problem to me. I take that very serious because I'm a person, whether friend or whatever, I take friendship, I take loyalty very seriously. So if a
Yeah,
person's
no,
not loyal, I like, nah, I'm done. And that's why even with the dating pool, like I said, Sean, I tell you, once you show me as a woman that you're not loyal, that you're not trustworthy, I'm like, nah, like you gotta go. Once you show me as a friend that you're not loyal, you're not trustworthy, you have to go. And like I said, everything is not to the point that you have to dismiss a person or get rid of them. Like I said, I give people chances, but I don't give people a bunch of chances. That's it. Because it comes down to something you said, where you said you forgive and forgive and forgive until sometimes it's bad for you. No, I love myself too much to give a person that opportunity to continue to play me and like, no, you're not doing that. Like, I'd rather be alone. I'd rather not have friends. I'd rather make new friends. Whatever I got to do for my peace of mind. That's very important to make sure you're good. Self care is very important, and
no,
sometimes self care is stepping away.
I don't know. I also think like how much when do you start? forgiving when you get into a relationship? Like what? How soon is too soon?
But it to me, it also depends on what are you forgiving. Like I said, if you're my woman and you overspend on the credit card or the debit card, I can forgive that. If you're my woman, you come home from work, you had a bad day, and you're like, why'd you fucking asshole? I can forgive that. If you're my woman and you went out and you slept with three guys in one night or at the same time, I'm not forgiving that. If you're my woman and you go in my bank account and you steal my money and give it to someone else, I'm not forgiving that. Like I said, it depends on the situation.
I mean, I don't think I've ever done anything remotely like that to any man that I've been with. I'm not I'm not that person. But I have done like some things that were pretty hot-headed. Like my temper was more reactionary back in the
Mhm.
day. You came at me, I was going to give you what I got.
Okay. So you're
And
saying the temperament.
people don't expect that from me. People generally expect me to always be Mary Sunshine. And when I lose it, it's like, oh, she just gets crazy. My fuse is like a mile long. My fuse goes out the door, up the stairs, down the block, over to Sunrise Highway. Like, but when it hits and when I explode, everybody's like, "What the fuck just happened?"
And see, I understand that, but you have a reason now. You have a reason. You said your forgiveness is a mile long. So if I'm constantly forgiving you, and you're constantly fucking me over, and now I break, how could you be upset that I'm upset? I gave you every chance in the world, and you chose what you chose. So now you deal with the consequence, and that's it. That's it. 100%. It even comes down to like, say you're in a relationship and you're telling a person, I don't feel comfortable with this. And you say it, and you say it, and they continue to do the same thing. I don't like when you speak to me this way, and they continue to do it. I don't like when you joke like that, and they continue to do it. How long are you supposed to take that?
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing that nobody understands.
It, like I said, it self-preservation sometimes is very important, and no one should be more important to you than you. The only person that should be more important to you than you is your young infant child. Even after your child becomes an adult, now sometimes you got to step away from them if they're toxic and wrong. But an infant child can't protect themselves. They don't know what they're doing. So that's a whole different situation. But like I said, it comes a point that you have to be like, this isn't right. I can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with it. And that's it. That's it. And I stand firm in that. Like, 100%. Like I said, for some little petty stuff, like I could definitely forgive that. Like I said, I know your job, I know your career. Say we're married and you come home, you stress the fuck out or whatever, and I'm trying to talk and you snap. I'll give you your space for a little while. I'm not thinking about that. That's forgivable. Like we go through that. You had a bad day, you snapped.
Yeah, one of the things that I know about myself is that if I am not in a good mood and you like kind of push me to talk about it,
Hmm.
it's not going to make it any better. Give me time to process. That was why, like, when I was married or when I was like living with my ex, um, I would cook a lot. I would walk in the door, wash my hands, and start cooking, and leave me alone in the kitchen. Like, leave me very alone in the kitchen. No, I do not need you to set the table. I do not need you to make salad. I do not need you to chop shit. If I'm in the kitchen and all I do is like walk in the house and wave to you and start banging pots, go do something else, anything else. Go to the moon. I don't care. It's what I got to do.
I
And
understand that.
yeah, because I don't have it like that. I don't I don't want to tell you to like get out of my way because I don't want to be rude to you. You didn't cause this, but you have to accept that I'm not like going to be sunshine and moonbeams every day.
Yep. Because the whole thing with that is you could try to be a good person with certain people sometimes. You could try everything in your power, and they don't accept that, or they don't want that. They want to be whatever they are. They want to treat you however they want to treat you, and that turns out to be detrimental to you. So why would you put yourself in that situation? I'm just like, nah, I'm not dealing like no, I'm good. Like you go your way, I'll go my way, and let's just leave it at that. Like
Oh, I
sometimes,
absolutely agree. Yeah.
right, sometimes you just got to be open to leaving things alone. And isn't it funny we have two Jacquelines today? So,
Oh, hello,
sometimes
other Jackie.
sometimes you just got to say it is what it is. And like I said, it doesn't mean you hate the person. It doesn't mean you wish ill will on the person. It just means for your own peace of mind, the best thing for you to do is step away. And that's it. And sometimes you have to step away because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to forgive someone that really doesn't deserve to be forgiven. Or the forgiveness is just for their sanity. It doesn't do nothing for you. So sometimes you got to be like, all right, it is what it is. I'm out. I wish you the best. Go handle your business. Be a success. Be all that you can be, like they say in the army commercials. Be all that you could be. And I'm just gonna make sure I'm good. That's it. That's it. And like with me, after every breakup I have ever been in, what I would do is I would shut myself down to everything for like a couple of months, get my head right, and then keep it moving. All right, have a good one, Miss Jackie. Then keep it moving. But my thing is, at the end of the day, like, you have to make sure everything is in perspective. And that perspective is you making sure you're good. When you worry so much about everyone else that you don't take care of yourself, who are you hurting more? Yourself. And that's not good. Not
No,
at all.
it's, there comes a point where forgiveness is just something that wastes your time.
Yep. Yep.
I yeah, I'm actually like right there in my life at the moment where like, one more round of forgiveness is it's a waste of my time.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's not even worth the conversation. So you just you have to understand, all right, we'll never be the same. That's cool. I respect what you're doing. You respect what I'm doing. And let's just keep things peaceful. You go your way, I go my way. I never want nothing bad to happen to you, but I know we can't work.
Yeah. This just does not this is unhealthy. This will not progress. This will not get better. And the whole concept of forgiving someone without like some kind of meaning, at least the sign of meaningful change.
Yes, I agree with that also. Because that meaningful change is a lot. That change is saying, like, I think every situation is a lesson. And whether it's a physical relationship, whether it's a family relationship, whether it's just a friendship, you get taught lessons throughout life. And sometimes we walk around with blinders on. And when you open up those blinders and get the shit smacked out of you, and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize this. I never saw this until now. I always say you can't allow that to happen to you.
I remember after I got divorced, one of the things like,
Yes, Jackie, that's true.
yeah, but I remember after I got divorced or when my before my divorce was final, um when my kids would get mad at me, they would say things that my ex used to say to me
Hmm.
or things that my ex said to them about me. And it was really hurtful. And then like years later, when I was like, well, you said this, that, the other thing, they were like, yeah, but you knew it wasn't true. So why did you let it bother you? Because it did. Like it wouldn't bother me if I heard it from their father. It really bothered me that I heard it from them
Right.
because my fight was not with you.
You
Like
never
I
wanted them to look at you in that manner.
Oh, absolutely not.
That's the like I said, that's the one thing I would say with me and my ex-wife. We never used the kids as a pawn. We never let that come in between us. And I respected that. I always tell people when you have kids, you should try for the sake of the kids to at least be civil. You don't have to like each other, you don't have to love each other. Be civil for your kids. Your kids are important. That don't mean you forgive the other person. That
No,
don't
that's
mean you
like
give
one
a
of
damn
the
about the other person. That means you care for your kids. You care for your circle. That's the important thing. And you try to work around it. Now, when your kids are adults, that's a whole different factor. You don't ever really have to speak to that person again. And when you are in the same proximity, like I said, you just be civil and keep it moving. We don't have to sit down and have a conversation. If your kids get married or whatever, you don't have to dance together and stuff like that. You're just civil. You're just doing what you're supposed to do, making sure your kids are having a good time, and that's it. That's the
making sure
important
that they
part.
they know that their parents still love them more than they hate each other.
Right. That's
And
the important part.
I couldn't do that. I could never do that. I couldn't then. I can't now.
I hear you. You've been through too much.
I've been through too much. And it's like one of the things, like, he would say really like low down, nasty shit. And I would say that, like, I would say things like he's a drunk or a liar. And they would be like, see, you just got to always go there. I'm like, but those things are true. That's what we thought.
And what he's saying about you is not true. But and that's the funny. And he tried to manipulate it where you're the bad person and he's the good guy and you're just trying to beat him down. And that's the craziness. And for something like that, I would not forgive. I'm sorry. I can't forgive you. You tried to turn my kids against me. You
Oh,
did.
no, he didn't try. He succeeded.
No, but I'm saying, but that's foul. That's a horrible person right there. So sometimes, like I said, for your peace of mind, you have to do certain things and you have to look at life in a certain way. And that's why, like I said, I'm not really big on forgiveness. I'm bigger on forgetting. I forgot about you. You don't even exist in my world anymore. And sometimes that's the best thing for you to do is just let someone go 100%. When
Yeah.
you let it go, you're not smothered by the BS anymore.
No, you're not. And like, the one thing that I know, regardless of who I forgave, who I forgot, who I love, who I don't love, I live by myself now. And I like being by myself.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I
Nothing.
like being by myself. I don't think, I think going forward in my life, somebody would have to give me some kind of like irresistible deal. Jackie says that's what she tells people. She doesn't have to forgive, she just has to forget them.
That is my mantra.
Hmm.
That's my mantra to the core. And
But Jackie's not, she's not like ice in her blood. Not at all. She's a very like warm. I don't really know you like Ice Cube, like Sean says. You've always been a super warm friend to me.
I'm warm until I don't need to be warm. And that means when a person does me wrong or do me dirty, like I let them go. That's it. Because I'm a warm and caring person. If I'm always loving and caring and kind to you and you shit on me, why am I around you? No, we can't do that. So now you go do you. Like I said, no hard feelings. I don't want you to walk outside and get hit by a bus or nothing. But I'm not thinking about you anymore. We're never having sex. We're not having coffee, lunch, or dinner. Whatever happens to you, it happens. And that's it. But it's about time for us to roll out.
It
And
is about time for us to roll out, and we will announce next week's topic.
yes, we got to keep it. Like I said, you guys that tune in,
Yeah, we love you. We're really
post
grateful.
right, and you could post if it's any topic you want to speak about. We're more than willing, open to talk about anything. We talk about almost anything.
Everything.
Any pink flag you think of, we could talk about. I got a good one we could talk about.
Okay.
Damn, I forgot the name of it. But when you're intermingling families, I have a couple of
Oh,
kids.
blended families.
Yeah, blended families. There you go. That's the
Okay.
word. We could talk about blended families. That'll even work with our partner because she's in a blended family. So,
Yeah, her family is like way blended.
right. So, I think next week we should speak on blended families. That would be a
Very
good
good
one.
topic. Yeah.
Yes. And as always, Barbara, it's always my joy and my pleasure talking with my girl. Much love. Miss Banafi, much love. Miss Jackie, much love to you. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're there next week, we'll see you guys. Have a
Yep.
blessed one.
Have a blessed week. All
Good
right.
night.
Love you all. Bye
All
bye.
right.